Hello, welcome to Tumaritis Village. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and press the bell.
One day in Sibubor village, a train passed by, its distinctive sound filling the air. Meanwhile, vehicles hurried along the highway. Before long, a large, bald man wearing a black hat appeared. He was riding his bicycle across the road. The man said he worked in Sibubor village, in Mr. Burhan's garden, but today was his day off, and he wanted to go home to Tumaritis village. The man said,
"Working for one's family is a husband's duty, so they can live a decent life. At the very least, my wife and children can eat, and the kids can go to school. I'll do any job, no matter how far it is from home."
Nearby, there was a railway crossing. A few motorbikes and small vehicles passed over it. The road at the crossing was narrow, as only small vehicles could get through. As the man was crossing the tracks, his bicycle chain suddenly snapped right in the middle. He stopped and tried to fix it, but suddenly he was hit by a train and killed. Elsewhere, in Tumaritis village, a man named Petruk was giving a ride to a woman coming home from the market. His clothes were caked in mud, probably because he had fallen into a rice paddy puddle. I'll tell that story in another episode. The woman asked Petruk to take her to Sibubor village, as that's where she lived. Petruk was surprised she would shop so far away, at a market in a different village. The woman explained that she wanted to shop and, at the same time, look around other villages. She was a new resident in Sibubor, living in a new housing development there. During the ride, Petruk introduced himself to the woman, whose name, it turned out, was Yuli. They chatted on the way. Petruk said,
"Miss, do you happen to have a bathroom and any spare men's clothes at your house? My clothes and I are filthy. If it's okay, I'd like to borrow your bathroom and some clothes. I'll return them later."
Yuli answered, "Yes, we do. When we get to my house, you're welcome to use the bathroom and some of my father's clothes." Petruk replied,
"Thank you so much."
They arrived at Yuli's house, which turned out to be a very large home in an elite neighborhood. Despite being wealthy, Yuli was very humble. They went inside. Once they were in the living room, Yuli pointed out the bathroom to Petruk, and he headed for it. Arriving at the bathroom, Petruk muttered to himself,
"Wow, Yuli is really rich. Me, being poor like this, could she and I ever be together?"
He then went into the bathroom. After showering and washing his dirty clothes, Petruk went out to the back of the house to hang them up to dry. As he was hanging them, Yuli came out the door and gave him the clean clothes. She then asked him to meet her father in the living room. Petruk quickly changed and went to see Yuli's father. They chatted, and Yuli's father thanked Petruk for helping his daughter at the market. Petruk replied graciously that people should always help one another. Yuli's father then noticed the empty table. Seeing no drinks or snacks, he got angry at Yuli and ordered her to bring some refreshments for their guest. The day passed into late afternoon. Petruk asked to be excused, as his clothes were probably dry by now. Yuli's father thanked him once again for helping his daughter. Petruk then said goodbye to Yuli's father and prepared to head home. Outside, Petruk also said goodbye to Yuli and then asked,
Will you be my girlfriend?
Yuli replied, That's so fast. Let's just see how things go for now. Petruk laughed and got on his motorcycle. Petruk sped off on his motorcycle. The day was getting dark, and he still had a long way to go. Petruk checked his fuel gauge and saw it was almost empty. He remembered passing a gas station on the way to Yuli's house, so he looked for it. Petruk filled up at the gas station. Since the attendants were women, Petruk playfully flirted with them, but they ignored him. Petruk just laughed and continued on his journey. On his way, Petruk once again passed the road he had taken with Yuli earlier that day, the railway crossing. Right in the middle of the tracks, his motorcycle suddenly stalled and died. Petruk was confused. It had been running fine just moments before. He got off his bike to see what the problem was, but suddenly a train sped past at high speed. Luckily, Petruk managed to jump out of the way. He thought to himself,
Good thing I moved fast. If not, I would have been a goner.
Petruk then turned his attention back to his motorcycle's engine. As Petruk was working on his bike, he suddenly heard footsteps approaching. A person stopped in front of his motorcycle and said,
Sir, could I trouble you for a ride to Tumaritis village?
Petruk looked up and was startled. It was a large, bald man wearing a black hat. For a second, Petruk thought it was a ghost, but he didn't look frightening like a typical ghost. Petruk agreed, since he was heading to Tumaritis village anyway. After Petruk fixed his motorcycle, he and the fat man headed towards Tumaritis village. The nights grew later. Petruk asked the fat man,
Where exactly am I taking you, sir?
The fat man replied,
To the Forbidden Forest near Tumaritis village. There's a house there. That's my house.
Petruk muttered to himself,
I don't think there are any houses in the Forbidden Forest. Why am I suddenly getting goosebumps? I have a bad feeling about this. What's going on?
To kill the boredom in the dark of night, Petruk tried to talk to the fat man.
What were you doing in Cibubur, sir? That's a long way to go. You live in Tumaritis, but go all the way to Cibubur.
The fat man said,
I work in Cibubur village, sir, tending Mr. Burhan's fields. I'm heading home tonight, since tomorrow is my day off. I want to see my wife and children.
Petruk asked again.
Why not find a job closer to home, sir?
The fat man replied,
What can I do? There are no jobs nearby, only far away. For my family, I'll do anything.
Petruk tried to remember. He felt like he had seen this fat man before, but he couldn't remember where. Petruk racked his brain. After a long moment, he finally remembered. He had seen the fat man earlier that day while taking Yuli home. Petruk had seen this very man get run over and killed by the train. Petruk started to shake uncontrollably with fear, the hairs on the back of his neck standing on end. And then, suddenly, the fat man transformed into something terrifying. Petruk caught a glimpse of his horrific face in the rear-view mirror. Petruk was struck speechless. The fat man spoke to Petruk.
Sir, taking people places every day. What's the most you earn?
Petruk, trembling, replied,
The most is 100,000, sir. If it's a slow day, maybe 50,000.
The fat man said again,
I just work in the fields and I'm paid $50,000 a day, and that's before my daily food costs.
Petruk offered some advice.
You just have to be grateful, sir. It's the living you were given.
Then, terrified, Petruk asked,
Is your house still far, sir?
We're almost there.
the fat man replied.
Calm down. No need to be so scared. I'll tell you when we're close.
Petruk muttered to himself, shaking.
I can't take this anymore. My hands and knees are trembling so fast. What do I do? He hasn't asked to stop yet.
Suddenly, the fat man stuck out his tongue and began licking Petruk's helmet. Petruk looked back and was horrified to see the fat man's impossibly long tongue licking his helmet. The fat man said,
Why am I so hungry, sir? Is it because I haven't eaten? I miss my wife's cooking.
Petruk, shaking, replied,
Yes, sir. I'll speed up so we get to your house faster, and you can fill your stomach.
The fat man said,
Good, sir. Hurry up. I'm very hungry.
After riding for a long time, they reached the old cemetery near the forbidden forest. The fat man asked Petruk to stop, and Petruk, Just step on the gas,